I have a wild story for you guys today, a personal story. And this is a story of how I first discovered that all the things that we as men were taught growing up about women and dating were complete lies. So this goes back to me in high school when I had my first girlfriend. At the time, I was very shy, introverted, kind of insecure. But this girl I had known since we were kind of little. We'd grown up in the same school together, never really had a close relationship, but we knew each other. And so a little more comfortable talking to her. And we ended up talking in a class, math class, doing homework. And I ended up having the confidence to ask her out. Now, at the time, like I said, I was not high S&V whatsoever. I was shy, insecure, not confident like how I am now whatsoever. I don't even look anything like I look now. And so she was not the highest SMV girl at the school whatsoever. But we ended up dating, and in the beginning, it was a honeymoon. Everything was all good. We were just started dating when we were like 15, about to turn 16. And I pretty much did what I thought was expected of me, which is to be the perfect boyfriend. I was constantly buying her things, texting her all day, seeing her as much as I could. She was basically my purpose at the time. Doing whatever she needed, constantly complimenting her, constantly validating her, over validating her, 24/7, basically just being the ultimate simp boyfriend that I could be, because I thought that that was what was going to make her happy. And that's what I wanted to do, was to make her happy and have a good, happy relationship. And, being nice and kind and loving and all those things to a girl, make her feel beautiful and good and that you're obsessed with her. You're just going to make her love you even more. Of course, that's what I thought, because, I would love it if a woman treated me that way. In the beginning, things were going okay. You get the first honeymoon dopamine, oxytocin rush, and everything's awesome. Life's great. We're having fun all the time. A lot of chemicals, a lot of happiness chemicals going on, just at the start of any relationship in the honeymoon period. So it wasn't that bad in the beginning. And the thing that you need to know about this is that while I was low SMV and she definitely wasn't highest SMV either, I had the potential to reach higher levels of SMV than she did if I put in the words transform. And I didn't really realize that all the time. She, now looking back, definitely did know that. And that is why she stayed with me so long, despite what I'm going to explain to you. And then, obviously, I did the method and transformed to a much higher SMV than she would be now. So like I said, everything was fine in the beginning, but then, we ended up fully dating for about a little over 3.5 years. And, after the first year, going to the, 18 months, 2 years, I started to notice a little bit of disrespect. She wasn't as soft, feminine, and agreeable. She had a little more of an attitude. She's kind of more expecting of things for me to do, constantly text her, buy her things. She loved when I would give her gifts, etc. Spend time with her. A little annoyed when I spent time with my friends. As things were going on, I saw these things accumulating. And, at the time I was like, well, this is just, I didn't really notice it that much. It just seemed like, oh, this was just what relationships are. I wasn't that conscious. I was definitely a little bit of an NPC when it came to dating, understanding female psychology. Was completely clueless based on what I was told. Just be a good guy, be nice, treat her amazing. All things that my mom and society tells us guys to do to have a good dating life and a happy relationship. And we ended up actually going to the same college at the end of high school. And at this college, we were still dating. And I noticed the disrespect ramp up even more. I got to the point where I saw her like openly flirting with other guys at a party, like while I was in the same vicinity. Like she would be, sometimes I would go to be talking to a guy, she'd be next to me. I look over and she'd be like giggling and like laughing and like touching a guy and like putting her hand on his chest. I noticed that one time and it bothered me, but I didn't really know like what to do. Again, I was so NPC, so beta at the time. And I was also dealing with health issues that was messing up my hormones. So I didn't really have that masculine, drive of, self-respect and a little bit of ego that, high testosterone gives you. What I also noticed is that as time went on, she less and less wanted to be sexual with me. In the beginning, it was kind of exploring. We don't really know what we were doing, but it was kind of, fun, or at least this is what we're supposed to do, And eventually, she would stop initiating anything whatsoever. And eventually, she got to the point where I asked her, I was like, "You seem like you don't even want to have sex." She was like, "Yeah, I really don't because it's bad." That's literally what she said, that our sex is bad. Now, I didn't really understand how she knew that at the time because we'd both only been with each other. But that's the thing about guys. Even if you date girls with low body counts or date virgins, if you are not confident sexually, that is not going to save you. She's going to hear from media. She's going to hear from her friends, these experiences that her friends are getting with guys, that if you're not providing, she's going to feel like something's missing and there's better out there. And that is basically what was happening. I was awful at sex. I was not confident in my size, my ability to last. Just my masculine frame wasn't there. And I was so beta in the relationship, constantly pedestalizing, that she didn't really have any desire to even have sex with me. Even if I was a better performer sexually, she still didn't have that arousal. So it was just awful. I think in that whole relationship maybe made her finish like one time with like my hands, and 0 times during actual sex, which is just absolutely unacceptable. Again, I think that despite all that, she stayed with me because again, she wasn't the most confident. She didn't have the highest S&B herself, and she knew that I had a lot of potential, even though at the time I was totally beta and had no pre-selection, was not attractive whatsoever. She knew that women could sense her potential, and she knew that I had potential, which is why she still stayed with me despite no attraction, and not really much respect for me or desire for me, at least as a masculine man in the relationship. Now, around the time this is all happening, I'm also experiencing these symptoms of a health condition that I got diagnosed with, which was a brain tumor. Now, this brain tumor was benign. It wasn't going to kill me, but it was on my pituitary gland, and it was messing my hormones badly to the point where I had basically the hormone levels of like a dying 90-year-old man, as an otherwise healthy at the time. I was 19 at this point in the story. And it was absolutely awful. I had total ED, no sex drive at all, depression, anxiety, like no confidence or like self-respect or like masculine ego whatsoever. Just awful. Other people could definitely tell too. And I had this, it was spiking the hormone prolactin and keeping my testosterone super low too. And prolactin is something that you release right after you finish as a guy, and I feel like I'm feeling tired and sleepy and unmotivated. If you're here normally, then you finish and you're here, you come back down, right, slowly. I was like 24/7 for years, way up here. So absolute awful. It was hell. The diagnosis actually came as a relief, but I didn't get diagnosed till I was 21. So back to the story, I'm 19 at the time, I'm experiencing these things. I'm realizing something's wrong with me. And everything else, my self-esteem overall is low. I'm insecure, shy, like no confidence with girls. My relationship is actually not a source of confidence, but a source taking my confidence, because she doesn't even want to sleep with me. I can't satisfy her at all. She's flirting with other guys in front of me. Just awful. So eventually I decided that, I just need to be alone, and I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I just needed to figure it out. And all I wanted to do was lay in bed and just research on my phone. And so I decided to break up with her right before going into the sophomore year. And she was definitely really upset about it. But when we, it was kind of like, okay, we'll still talk a little bit. So we ended up, at the start of that year, went back to school. It was insane. All of a sudden now, I'm not treating her like how I should, I thought, like a good boyfriend. I was ignoring her, being dismissive, not really caring about her emotions, not caring about her at all, really, because I had to focus. If you don't have your health, you don't have nothing. So, I was treating her basically like crap. I was ignoring her all the time, etc. And what the crazy thing is that during this period, she was insatiably horny for me. Like, we were still hooking up a little bit, and at times I would go over, and she would like be so aroused like crazy. And keep in mind, guys, at the time it was like I was such a pathetic shell of myself, like hormone levels of a dying 90-year-old man, no confidence. I even like cried to her about how insecure I was around this time, and she still just wanted to sleep with me. She'd be like, we don't even have to talk, I just want you to come over and like me, like stuff like that. Like, it was crazy how much she desired me sexually, and it was genuine. It wasn't like insecure. Like, when I was there, she was like happy and like wanted to sleep with me. Again, I still wasn't that good because my performance was awful, but at least she had this crazy desire. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Why is she, when I'm treating her like crap, is she all of a sudden insanely into me and like so aroused by me, when this whole entire relationship I was being the best possible boyfriend that I could, treating her like an absolute queen, and she had zero desire or respect for me sexually in any capacity whatsoever. Now I don't care about her at all. I'm treating her like trash. If a girl treated me like this way, I wouldn't want to sleep with them. And now all of a sudden she has insane desire for me. I was absolutely mind blown. I realized that everything that I've been told leading up to that point about female nature and sexual dating dynamics was a complete and utter lie and scam. I just realized this. I didn't understand it. I just knew that I had been taught a lie, and that I needed to figure it out. So this set me on my path towards research. Eventually, completely cut it off with her, no contact. shortly after that. And I started my path of research, boys, that led to who I am today. I discovered the whole method. And one of the things I was researching a lot was female nature. I was also studying social psychology at school. That was what my bachelor's degree is in. And I studied just intersexual dating dynamics like crazy. It was just so interesting to me after that point of realization. And it led to where I am today, where I have this awesome knowledge. I'm a dating coach, and I'm making these videos to educate guys who were once like me and didn't understand this stuff, because it's so important to do so. So with my full understanding of female nature and psychology, intersexual dating dynamics, now looking back and analyzing the situation, what was happening is that I was in the relationship displaying behaviors of not being pre-selected. Yes, guys, it always comes down to that pre-selection. Watch my video in my dating playlist on this channel about the most attractive trait by far that a man could have. It's pre-selection. And when I was constantly validating her, spending all my time with her, texting her 24/7, what I was showing was I had no other options. What I was showing, even though I wasn't pre-selected really when I broke up with her, and we were kind of in that stage of her being aroused at me and trying to hook up with me. I was displaying signs of a pre-selected man, which is basically not really caring that much about her. Signs that I had higher SMV than her. And this is going to be instinctively and biologically attractive to women. Signs that if you overly show signs that you need her and that you care about her too much, that is repulsive in terms of sexual desire and arousal. If you show signs that you don't really care about her that much, you're not really treating her that good, this is biologically wired in women to create sexual arousal. Now, it's not necessarily going to create long-term harmony and like happiness in a long-term relationship, but it does cause arousal. That's why so many women are attracted to bad boys who treat them like trash and don't give a crap about them, and they don't like nice guys. This is into their biology. So this is basically, I didn't understand this explanation of it like I'm giving you now, but at the time, this is what I was realizing that something was backwards here. So that's all I'm gonna go into it in terms of right now. Watch that video I sent you if you guys want more information on that topic specifically, along with the rest of the dating playlist. Now in my relationship with my current girl, it's a 180. There's tons of mutual respect, attraction, desire, amazing sex, in all ways for both of us. And it's just 10 times better in every way than the relationship was before. And now a lot of those things are going to be, I look better, I'm more confident, I'm more masculine. The sexual mastery method, right? Size, stamina, seduction, I mastered. But specifically just understanding female nature and knowing how to navigate the relationship. Now, I still treat her really good. She would say that I treat her amazing. But I just know the limits of how to do so in a way that keeps her attraction extremely high. If you do not understand these things, guys, you will not be successful in maintaining attraction and respect in a long-term monogamous relationship with a woman, because these things are naturally going to degrade if you do not logically understand the rules that you need to follow and understanding her psychology to stimulate it in a way to keep that attraction. So this is why it's so important you guys understand these things. Watch my entire dating content playlist. Thank you guys for watching this one. As always, subscribe for truth. Peace.